Thank you very much once again for joining us. Members of the Locked Up Investment Holders Forum are this morning picketing at the Ministry of Finance to pressure the Minister of Finance to allocate funds for the Bank of Ghana to revoke the licenses of insolvent finance houses and savings and loans companies and pay depositors their funds. The group picketed on March 27, urging the ministry to make financial provisions to support the revocation of licenses of defunct financial institutions in order to ensure the security of investor funds. Well, the minister failed to engage with them, leading to the threat of another protest. So let's take you live to the front of the Finance Ministry, where my colleague Calvin Powell is standing by to bring us an update on exactly how this picketing has been going. Calvin, welcome to the bulletin. You've been at the Ministry of Finance where these individuals have been picketing because they sent an earlier petition and they've not had a response yet. I can see Dr. GHOne behind you. What has been happening? What has been going on since you got there?
All right. Lantam, as you rightly pointed out, today the members of Lock-Up Fund Holders Forum are picketing at the Finance Ministry to press on their demand of the release of their funds in some 5 distressed financial institutions. And the work actually began at the office of NDK Financial Service, which is one of the 5 distressed companies. And earlier when they got here, something unusual happened. A Deputy Minister of Finance in the person of Dr. Stephen Amwa was entering, and he attempted engaging the convener of the forum, that is Dr. Anani, and the members were not pleased with his posture. They thought he could have taken the convener inside and engaged him. Instead, he decided to stand with him just by the fence wall and have a conversation with him. And this infuriated them, and they were actually angry and wanted to disrupt their conversation. But Doctor afterwards intervened, and calm remained, and he was able to have a conversation with the Deputy Minister. He's right here with me. Let me engage him to tell us what the conversation has been and the way forward for the forum. Doc, you are live on GHOne television.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so when we got here initially, we saw the Deputy Minister, Dr. Stephen, entering, and he engaged you briefly, but the manner in which he engaged you was not pleasing to your members. And that brought a kind of altercation, but you brought everything under control. What conversation actually went between you two, and what's the way forward for your forum?
Well, thank you. I think what happened was that he was coming inside when he saw the crowd. And I think he inquired from the staff, what was it? And they told him I was the person leading the forum. So he asked to see me, and that was just around the gate side when I met him there, and we started conversing. It came, automatically that, oh, Chief, what is happening? And we started talking. But the members felt that we should have gone inside to speak about this, and I told them that it's okay. We can have that discussion here. It's nothing serious. He doesn't know what is happening, and I'm telling him what is happening. So the short end of the story is that he seems not to know what is happening with our petition and letters that we have submitted so far to the ministry. So I have to brief him. I told him what has happened from the onset of our engagement with both Bank of Ghana and the ministry, the petition we have sent to the ministry. The first day we came here, the ministry, nobody was there to meet us, even though we have informed them we were coming. The next day that we brought them a petition, we have waited for 3 weeks, no response to the petition. We've sent them another reminder, waited for 2 weeks. We stated in the 2 weeks, in the letter that if within 2 weeks we don't hear from them, we will start picketing the ministry. I told him everything. And then he understood that, well, this is the issue. He said he doesn't know what was happening. And so he was going to take the matter to the minister. He wanted the letter. I said the letter is with the ministry, or the minister's office. So he will take the letter and then discuss with the ministry and get back to us. So when he get back to us, then we would know what is going to happen.
All right, initially, you said you are going to picket up to November and continue January 2025. So what is the plan now?
No, it will depend on the response that we receive from the ministry. If we don't receive the right responses that will satisfy us, we will continue with the picketing. If we receive a response that will satisfy us, we won't come.
All right, so I want us to get down to the issue. As most of your members complain for the past 5 years, they are unable to assess their profit and even their principal. What is their general state of living now? Because most of them are pensioners.
Yeah, you can see that for those who are on pension, they are suffering, very much suffering, because if that is the money you are using for your retirement activities, your expenses, you can see that it's worrisome. There are some sick people that have even passed on because they couldn't get their money for their medication. And even those who are dead, their families can't even get the money to even organize a befitting funeral for them. It is worrisome. People cannot send their kids to school. Those that are depending on income from their investment to pay their school fees, medical, and
Right, so that was my colleague Calvin Powell engaging the convener of the group, Dr. Edu Ananientwi. We lost them briefly, but we can connect back to them now.
Problem with the institution, you report to the regulator, and that is why we went to the Bank of Ghana.
Thank you so much. So, Lantam, as you've heard, this has been the situation on the ground. They will continue the protest every Wednesday until November. But in case a favorable response comes from the ministry, which shows that their funds will be paid and the 5 distressed companies declared insolvent, they will cease their picketing. Back to you in studio.
Very well, Calvin Powell, thank you very much for bringing us that update from the premises of the Ministry of Finance. Calvin Powell is my colleague on the ground. Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Da Costa Abuaje, has announced that the government, with parliamentary approval, will allocate 2 million Ghana cedis to support dialysis treatment for those in need. The CEO expressed optimism that the forthcoming disbursement would provide the much-needed relief to dialysis patients.
I think we've made progress on dialysis. Just last week, a committee that has been set up to chair and implement the disbursement of the funds that were approved by Parliament has actually concluded their report, including the dialysis patients themselves. So we work with them. They have concluded, and I can confidently say that within the next few weeks, we will be starting the disbursement to the various facilities. I can give you the details, which is obviously the fact that this one was for the needy, what was approved by Parliament for the needy. I know Parliament has also increased the cost of dialysis for the healthcare providers, which is they've taken it to 491. But if you look at Kolebu, we have a philanthropist supporting majority of them with about 380 Ghana cedis. So the difference is about 111. So the other hospitals do not have that support. So we're looking at supplementing for both patients from Kolebu, Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital, and Central Region, in such a way that for Kolebu, because they do get that support, we will be able to bridge a gap for them. Then we support our patients also from Cape Coast and Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. But the fact is, they do 8 cycles per month. We cannot do all the 8, so we are looking at an average or maybe below average.
The Director General for the Ghana TVET Services, Mausi Awiti, has revealed that basic school pupils are now choosing TVET schools as first options due to the significant investments government has made into the schools, adding that as a result, TVET schools are now seeing significant rise in enrollment. Basic school leavers in the country are now making TVET schools a first choice option as a result of these policy initiatives, marking a shift in the educational choices of young Ghanaians.
Speaking at the seminar, the Director General for Ghana TVET Services, Mausi Awiti, expressed optimism and the increase in enrollment at TVET schools, adding that this is as a result of investments made into TVET institutions by the Nanado-led administration.
2024, we had people with aggregate 7, aggregate 8, aggregate 10, 12, 15, choosing TVET schools, and some chose SHS schools, the grammar school, but then they would come and say, no, the parents would come and say, we are changing the school to a TVET school. And it was so encouraging because we had targeted, the service had targeted around 55,000, but we made 61,000+.
She also called for collaboration between stakeholders to ensure the gains made into TVET education are sustained. Meanwhile, over 300 artisans and female entrepreneurs from across the whole municipality participated in the seminar, which is expected to provide opportunities for entrepreneurs and trade ideas.
This group have been existing about 3 years now, and we've organized a lot of programs, training, seminars, workshops, and to God be the glory. We will say all these programs have impacted lives. As you can see today, I think the program is very fantastic, even the turnout, and I'm happy the women are happy because the TVET director was here today, and I think she has solved most of their problems halfway.
Now, the family can often be described, or it's often described as the basic unit of society, has for some time been under pressure in the face of global social and economic turbulence. However, families are being put under the extra lens in the face of climate change activities. On the occasion of International Day of Families, celebrated every 15th of May, the United Nations focuses on families and climate change. Do members of the family understand climate change?
Climate change in weather, saying that
I affect because I say it's time so I say Anton months it means it's a month don't expect to say Anton koto other month. And so area na ono so na ha adwumpa special ballers even so ni to ana moto ambola bebre egu nso ato no bonsa mo hwe bola nso to na efa gota na mo to bola whilst the bola container e wa bonti a mo twe skadishem inta mo hwe nso gu bola ni gu nso no ma e konisa no a nso ni beto ewie no bonse bola na ba street ni so nti ha adwumpa nso ka una gota it's a young man term in the area here a ha adwumpa serious.
Basically, I think that we all know naturally that from January to March is a particular season, and then from March downwards or upwards you have the rains coming through. So if you are conversant with these dates and with this calendar, you should know what to expect at a certain point in time. But like I said, sometimes we do get surprises, especially when you are not also privy to what the meteorologists have said concerning the weather for that particular day or week. So as a worker, should you have rains coming in like 5 a.m. and it doesn't stop, let's say till around 8, also depending on how prepared you are, if you have a car and all that, at least you'll be able to drop your kids with the car. But sometimes the rains get so heavy, and depending on which environment you stay and the magnitude of the rain, it would then really affect your work and also the time you drop the children. Yes, but once you have an idea of what the weather forecasters have said, then you can prepare and meet, the weather accordingly.
Oh, for the climate change, these days it's not easy at all. Especially the sun. It's so hot. Right now, look at it, it's 10, but look at it like we're in 1 or this thing. So it's getting worse. And it's affected a lot. Me, for this, I'm a banker. and I do a lot of work in the sun. And sometimes, in fact, I can drink water almost going to 10 to 12 sachets a day because it's not easy. All these are finances that are going. Are you getting me? Especially when the light of this do matter. When there's light off, you can't even sleep. Especially our kids. See, so that they are sweating and they die even great sickness. Even just recently, one of my daughter was being admitted just because of the climate change. Because the light off, they can't sleep, and then she was sweating, and then the following day the body was rising too much. I had to take it to hospital for treatment. It's getting worse. Yeah, it's getting worse too much.
Now, in the tranquil community of Mpoase in the Ablekuma West Municipality, a clandestine dumping ground has emerged as a looming menace, casting a dark shadow over the lives of its residents. Crafted by the hands of notorious individuals, this unauthorized waste disposal site now serves as a grim barrier, obstructing vital waterways and plunging the community into the depths of severe flooding. Peter Kwao Adato delves into the heart of the situation and brings us the latest developments.
Low-lying settlement nestled within the Ablekuma West municipality of the Greater Accra region has long rallied on natural defenses like the Gbegbe River to ward off flooding. However, recent developments have plunged the community into a nightmare. A group of men have taken it upon themselves to establish an unauthorized refuse dump along the Gbegbe River, disrupting the delicate balance on that once protected Mpoase from inundation. Scores of tricycles now flock to the site daily, paying tolls to unload their garbage, effectively blocking the access way to the sea and redirecting floodwaters back into the community. Despite attempts to halt this illicit activity by reporting to the Ablekuma West Municipal Assembly, which has once deployed security personnel to guide evacuation, the gang persists, intimidating anyone who dares to interfere.
The place is full of. Now they are choking the gutter, linking to the palm rose town. So the refuse has blocked the whole water entrance there. So anytime the rain fall, all these our vicinity are flooded. Nobody is saved. We are just entering the rainy season. If we didn't do it early, at the end of the day, before the Nadu will come in, people will be dying. Because the population of the people living in this area, they are in thousands. Because of the population being coming into the vicinity down there, they are filling the whole river, selling the portion for people to build on. That's the problem.
While the assembly confirmed the situation, official reactions remain elusive, leaving residents in limbo.
Pictures do much and one more for and one yane, hanging out and so. No was you or more quaba and one normal maybe.
The Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources acknowledges the situation but places the onus on the Municipal Assembly for action.
It's always the responsibility of the various assemblies to take care of waste management within their jurisdiction. It will be difficult for us to get up and say that every assembly's work will want to take it up.
Samson Akwete further suggests measures for the assemblies to mitigate waste management complications.
If you look at it, there's a lagoon or something just by it, a river by the side, and as they keep the garbage, it's filling. And with time, it will fill the whole place, and that river will not exist, which will not be good for all of us. So I think it's something that the Assembly needs to take it seriously, attend to you, so that I see how we can all together address the issue.
However, for now, the fate of Mpoase hangs in the balance. Relent on divine intervention as the rainy season approaches.
And there are people there collecting money, like you said. So we need to find out whether these people are from the Assembly, they've been given the power by the Assembly to collect money. If they are collecting money and the money is going to the Assembly, then we need to find out what the Assembly is doing on that. If the money is not going to the Assembly, then the Assembly should be able to come out clearly to tell us what is happening in there, so that at least they will find ways and means of solving the problem.
Peter Kwao Adato's report.
The National Security has cautioned against the constant bombardment of its call center in charge of See Something, Say Something campaign by serial pranksters, according to the team lead for the campaign, Kesta Osei Mensah. Since the launch of the See Something, Say Something campaign in 2022, the center receives regular prank calls from the public, of which students are the worst culprits. The campaign team is therefore advising the public to desist from pranking and making prank calls, but to rather report cases that will result in the arrest of criminals.
In a bid to increase awareness and vigilance in thwarting potential terrorist attacks among students, churches, and the general public, the Ministry of National Security has intensified its See Something, Say Something campaign in the Northern region ahead of the election in 2024 using the acronym SALUTE. This makes it easier for people to describe suspicious acts when they call the emergency line. In an interview, the team member of the See Something, Say Something campaign, Kesta Osei Mensah, cautioned the general public against placing prank calls to the emergency toll-free number 999. He noted that the prank calls obstructs legitimate distress calls.
We realize, especially with the students, with the young ones, whenever we engage or whenever we're on the ground, there's a spike or uptick in the prank calls. In one way, it's a positive sign for us to know that, yes, the message has sunk in, they know the number and all that. But on the other side, unfortunately, it affects us picking or pinpointing the genuine calls from the prank calls. So the message out there is we're pleading with the society, we're pleading with Ghanaians, not to abuse the system, because you never know. It could be you the next time, and because you have pranked the system or somebody has pranked the system, we might not respond to yours genuinely. So please, let's desist from pranking the system and ensure that we only see something, or we call 999 when we see something suspicious and we're waiting for response.
Reported as one of the culprits among the plethora of prank calls are students. The news team sought to gauge their thoughts on the See Something, Say Something campaign.
I am my genius words. We were watching the television then. They advertise about it, and then they show some pictures of criminals or something which is not good for the people of the country. Then they say, if you see something, then say something. And I've been seeing it, but
post-war, your area ma, senior be reported. I'll make my chest and call for no my short code, which is 999. So your fresh 999, I'll make my chest and call. I'm saying, I said, like, maybe you go to a place, you see a bag somewhere. And you can say, over touches our bag. No. First, you have to call that number before. So they'll come and check. Even if nothing is there, it's better. They'll come and check. If nothing is there, they'll go. You are free.
However, Kumbungu and Savelugu municipal assemblies boycotted the team's engagement in the municipalities for the reason that it was a weekend and they were not allowed to work. GHOne News can confirm that official letters were served to the two municipalities with the weekend schedule.
Political scientist at the University of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Asah-Asante, has warned that the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, may suffer a credibility crisis if he is not circumspect about his political promises. This follows a U-turn by the Vice President on incentivizing churches instead of taxing them. During a meeting with the clergy members in the Northeast region as part of his nationwide tour, the NPP flag bearer stated that considering the contribution of churches to the development of the country, they should be paid instead of taxed. However, he subsequently clarified that he was taken out of context and that his remarks were made in jest.
If you look at it, there is a difficulty here that why would you, in campaign trail, decide that you've given hope in terms of what? Promise. That obviously will find favor with the group that you are talking to. And then in no time, you make a U-turn that it was a joke. Much as we want to hear promises, we want our Vice President to reflect on them very much so as to, give promises that he can fulfill. But you don't give a promise in 1 minute and the next moment you come back to say that, look, that was a joke. If it becomes consistent, then it creates a problem. Then people will not want to believe in what we are saying that much. There's already some section of people who don't believe in what the vice president says for so many reasons that they can assign to that. I'm not sure he wants to compound that problem by adding more. So once he said that, well, it was a joke, we can pardon him, for once. But if he becomes consistent, then I'm not sure anybody can take him as serious as he wants us to take him for the things that comes out of his mouth in terms of policy direction and policy. This back and forth thing, it doesn't bode well for his campaign. If for once it can pass, but if it becomes consistent, I'm afraid it will undermine the fortunes of his campaign.
Well, let's find out what some of you have got to say about this on social media. Nana Ama Aqua has joined us in studio and she's ready with some of the comments that you have on our various social media platforms. Nanama, good afternoon. What have people been saying?
Lantam. Well, they've got a lot to say about this because 1 minute it appears the vice president is saying that churches should be paid and not taxed. The next minute he says it is a joke. So when we move over to Facebook, Faith says, King promise. Then we have Nana Boachi Sharp. He can't run away this time. Emmanuel adds, it was not a joke. It was an allegory. Don't take him on. We hear you there. Then Richard says, Ghanaians don't make any mistake. This dude can tell us after winning the election that all his campaign message was a joke. Hey, Baumia, this is an insult to those who were there, who were present at that day. Then we move over to Instagram. We are a serious nation. There's no time to be joking. All governance is a serious business, not for jokers. We have Kwame. Vice President is doing all he can to take the position of Kumawood actors because I can't think far. Which kind vice be this? We also have the next comment. Sir, you said it and we believe you indeed. Then we have Ni. When you have a platform to communicate, it's an opportunity to say what you mean. This is not too hard. Then we have Duncan. Can he make such jokes in a mosque? I'm sure someone put wisdom in his head afterwards. That's why he's here trying to. I don't want to type what came into my mind. It's better. Be circumspect. Francis says, and he's still joking, Abby. Then we have the next comment. Look at the kind of politicians we have. When will our country grow? Until there is a strong structure that will punish every politician for all their evil and wicked deeds, this country is finished. And we move over to X quickly here. We have Inu. Baumia is desperate for power in any means. Then we have Anwar. So if they say you're a comedian, whose fault is that? Then we have Ethmark. And that's how he will continue to joke and the country will be in pains. Local adds, now people can't joke anymore in this country. This is not any big issue. And that's what you had to tell us. Interesting comments there. Did he joke? Did he not joke? Well, let's see what happens moving on. Maybe if you watch Star Chat, you'll hear more from his communications director. My name is Nanama Aqua. Lantam, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Nana Makwa, for bringing us those comments on social media. And you heard her there say that Dennis Miracles Abuaje is going to be a guest on Star Chat with Bola Ray, so make sure that you tune in. Now, Vice President Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia has announced that the Comptroller and Accountant General will effect a transfer of 177 million Ghana cedis to the account of the Ministry of Health for onward payments to trainee nurses. Trainee nurses have petitioned the government on several occasions to ensure the payment of their delayed allowances, but speaking at an event to mark the International Day of Nurses and Midwives, the Vice President said money will be transferred to the Ministry of Health's account by Thursday.
Recalling the petitions from trainee nurses about the delay in the payments of allowances and the impact it has had on their practicals, the Vice President announced that the Comptroller and Accountant General is set to transfer over 177 million cedis for disbursement to them.
I wish to assure our nursing trainees also, because whenever I go, they say Alawa has not yet dropped. And so I engaged the Ministry of Finance, and the minister has in fact sent me the evidence that by Thursday, this Thursday, the controller is transferring 177 million Ghana cedis to the Ministry of Health to pay the nursing training allowances. So I have also alerted Dr. Okoboy to be on standby. When the money hits the Ministry of Health account, they should move it quickly to the accounts of the nursing trainees so that they will have their alawa. It will drop by the grace of God.
He also announced that the green light has been given for the recruitment of unposted nurses and other incentives for them.
I have confirmed with the Ministry of Finance. Steps are being taken to clear the backlog of unemployed nurses and midwives within the shortest possible time. By August, the clearance will be granted, I am told, for the hiring, the recruitment of that. Notwithstanding the backlog, however, let me put on record that our government has provided the highest number of employments to our nurses, unprecedented in our history. So far, we've recruited over 100,000 nurses.
President of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, on her part, appealed to the government to be swift with the financial clearance and other initiatives to ensure the nurse is comfortable.
We've had several engagements with the Ministries of Health and Finance, and we have indication that very soon the financial clearance will be issued for their employment. And this is a very good news for us, and we are keeping our fingers crossed. We need a befitting structure for the Ghana College of Nurses and Midwives to enable more of our colleagues to be trained as specialists. And we do not end there. We also want to see a day where government can pick up, if not fully, part of their fees, which is quite high for them to be able to go through the training.
She also appealed to the cabinet to approve the rural incentive package for nurses and midwives.
There is the need, an urgent need, and we plead with you, Your Excellency, that cabinet should approve the rural incentive package developed by the Ministry of Health with support from the World Health Organization.
This year's International Nurses and Midwives Day is under the theme, Nurses and Midwives, Our Future and Economic Power of Care.
A political storm is brewing in the Western North region as the National Democratic Congress takes a bold stand against traditional chiefs veering into partisan waters. The party, at a media briefing, issued a stern warning to chiefs who dare to publicly endorse the MPP, reigniting the debate over the role of traditional leadership in modern politics.
The Western North National Democratic Congress has ignited controversy with its recent declaration during a press conference, signaling a no-tolerance policy for chiefs who openly endorse the MPP within the region's political landscape. The NDC voiced grievances over what they perceive as an alarming trend of chiefs engaging in political rhetoric. The party says it possesses evidence, including recorded videos, of chiefs actively campaigning for MPP candidates in both presidential and parliamentary elections. Such actions, according to the party, undermine the impartiality and integrity of traditional leadership.
Not to appear as sounding a warning to any chief. We are only promising them of what we shall do should such acts happen ever again. We shall deal decisively with anyone. We also wish to assure our impartial and non-partisan chiefs of our continued agreement and engagement with them in building our region.
George Ofori-Dankwa further spoke about an alleged intimidation the party suffered from some chiefs during the 2020 electioneering and vowed to resist such this year.
We in the NDC shall countenance any act of intimidation from anybody, as was the case in 2020, where some chiefs were all over intimidating our people. We shall resist any act, and any chief who dares shall be treated as an opponent politician and not a chief.
The party rallied its members and supporters, urging them to remain steadfast in their campaign efforts.
Is hereby telling our members and supporters to go all out their duties and campaign, and know that nobody in the region can intimidate any of them. No chief can summon any NDC member to his palace for any term. If any chief feels aggrieved by our campaign, he can go to court.
Now in business, the Vice President, Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has underscored the transformative impact of fintech on the global financial arena. Highlighting the rapid advancements in technology at the 3I Africa Summit, he emphasized that the financial sector is experiencing a significant change, with Africa also embracing this trend.
National economies have become more open, fostering greater trade openness across the continent. A pivotal driver accelerating this growth trajectory is the growing fintech sector. While African consumers and businesses initially hesitated to embrace e-commerce, representing a mere 1% of Africa's $1 trillion economy in 2009, the landscape has since transformed significantly. Recent developments in fintech and mobile financial services have catalyzed rapid growth in online commerce. Recent statistics highlight this shift, projecting online sales in Africa to soar to $75 billion by 2025. Of this amount, an estimated $56 billion is anticipated to stem from consumer spending as digital payment platforms gain traction across developing economies. This is a substantial leap from the $8 billion consumer spending recorded in 2013. The evolving consumer purchasing habits in Africa, increasingly influenced by fintech innovations, are emblematic of the continent's dynamic economic transformation. The fintech sector's role in facilitating digital payments and e-commerce growth spotlights this significance as an impetus to economic development and financial inclusion across Africa. Another remarkable advancement on the continent is the rapid growth in mobile phone usage and the telecommunications sector.
President General of the GHOne Research and Manufacturing Company Limited, Professor Samuel Atudankan, has called on the public and consumers to purchase GHOne products only from authorized distributors to ensure authenticity and quality. This comes on the back of recent concerns of unscrupulous entities exploiting the GHOne brand to promote their products. Now, speaking at a press conference, Professor Samuel Atudankan said his outfit is actively collaborating with the Food and Drugs Authority to punish persons responsible for overpricing, false advertising, and misrepresentation of its products.
We have recently discovered unauthorized marketing materials, falsely promoting GHOne Mixture and GHOne Plus as cures for various diseases, including cancer, kidney disease, HIV, and others. It's crucial to understand. Working with the FDA to protect consumers, we are actively collaborating with the FDA to identify and hold accountable those responsible for this false advertising. We pledge to provide consumers with precise details and guarantee responsible use of our products. So if you have conditions that you feel that you need me, you have a healthcare clinic that you can come to us for us, but don't go and buy any medicine and tell them that, oh, I say it is cure for that and that.
As part of activities to mark its 2 decades of pioneering innovation and excellence in the private health insurance sector, GHOne Healthcare, a leading health insurance company, has launched several initiatives aimed at enhancing healthcare access and quality in the country. There's more in the following report.
GHOne Healthcare, a leading health insurance in Ghana, has launched its 20th anniversary for being at the forefront of innovation and excellence in the private health insurance sector. In commemoration of its 20th anniversary, GHOne Healthcare has introduced initiatives such as the Retirees Health Plan, a continuous professional development training for service providers, a blood donation exercise, and donations to 2 major government hospitals in Accra and Kumasi. The Group Chief Executive Officer of GHOne Healthcare, Edward Fokwo-Che, said GHOne Healthcare operates with integrity and adheres to the best industry and governance practices, aiming to sustain their reputation as the preferred private health insurance provider for years to come.
Just like every business, the initial stages was quite slow, but it's been very wonderful. We're set up to provide health insurance services, and we happen to come in at a time when the health insurance bill, or I would say act, had been promulgated in the country for the first time. And as I delivered, we're the first to have set up. So there was nobody to look up to. We came in, and by God's grace and with dint of hard work, we've been able to work. We've been able to provide quality service. We've been able to provide to the expectations of our customers, and this is how far we have come.
The Chief Executive Officer of GHOne Healthcare, Mami Efriye Boache, explains that the introduction of the Retiree Health Plan is a testament to the unwavering commitment to meeting the evolving needs of their clients.
GHOne Healthcare has proactively developed a special plan for our golden years. I am delighted to announce the upcoming launch of our Retiree Health Plan, a testament to our unwavering commitment to meeting the evolving needs of our customers.
The Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Dacosta Abuaje, commended GHOne Healthcare for setting a benchmark for quality healthcare provision, ensuring that corporate institutions, individuals, and families have access to essential healthcare services.
I think they've come far, they've done so well, and the quality of service that they deliver should actually continue. But they must also be looking at the new initiatives that the NHI is actually bringing on board, looking at promotive, preventive approach in terms of wellness for the Ghanaian people.
As GHOne Healthcare embarks on the next phase of its journey, their commitment to innovation and customer-centric solutions remains unwavering.
Well, that's it for business. Now, Gabon's deposed President Ali Bongo and 2 of his sons have gone on a hunger strike to protest against the alleged subjection to acts of torture and barbarity, according to the family's lawyers. Mr. Bongo, who was ousted in a military coup in August last year, shortly after he won a disputed presidential poll, says he was confined to his house in the capital. And as he was confined to his house in the capital, he was subjected to brutal torture. And he wants respite for this particular situation. Of course, you can log on to starfm.com.gh and get some more international stories there. And that's how we'll wrap up Newsroom here on GHOne Television. Thank you very much for watching. And like I told you, log on to starfm.com.gh for more news stories. My name is Lantam Papanko. Have a good evening.